big news this month. Tomaso has completed their first P72 supercar.
Oh, really?
Yes.
Oh.
But it's still not a customer delivery. It is their first production car, VIN number 001, but they have not delivered a customer car yet. Now, why does this matter? Well, we did a podcast, maybe a year and a half ago, thanks to a wonderful article from SSO Report that detailed the struggles that Tomaso had in their restart after being purchased out of bankruptcy in 2015 or at auction. Make sure I get my details right, and if I don't know, say maybe.
This is not advice. We don't act to be factual.
Yeah, right. They purchased the rights to the company for like $1 million and decided to restart the company. And the P72 was their first prototype, which is the most beautiful supercar on the market. Well, on the market's an interesting
big
term.
old air quotes on
out
that.
there, in my opinion. I think this is just incredible. They had initially announced that it was going to base at around 750,000 euro, which was a little bit short. They doubled their price somewhere along the way because it was estimated that the parts run just for one vehicle was 650,000. So there's no way you can make that work. I think it's 1,900 production hours for this car.
Whoa.
So yeah, that math wasn't going to math, but I think it got them a lot of deposits, which...
Well, I think the deposits disappeared like instantaneously. When it showed up at Goodwood, I think people were just like stumbling over each other to give them $100K out as a deposit.
Yeah, disappeared is an unfortunate choice of terms. You're implying that they went missing.
That's not...
According to the company, they held them in escrow. But, this is a startup. We talked about the Radford Motors bankruptcy. Startups... you might as well light your money on fire when you're investing in an automotive startup. I'm sorry, when you place a deposit for an automotive startup, you're not investing in their company. No. Anyway, I found it interesting because I really want this car to come to fruition. I'd like for it to be cheaper so I could afford one, but whatever. I can't. So I read an article in January that said the Tomaso P72 is coming this year. That was January of 2023, right?
Oh, nice.
Yep.
So
it talked about how they had reached a new deal with a company. They had some troubles with their previous company, Capricorn, and the company that made the Apollo Intensio Emotion, the IE company. They had actually produced 3 of the Apollos, but apparently they weren't street legal. They were basically garage art, according to the people that bought them. So they did deliver 3 of those cars, but that's not enough to make any money. So they used some of the design and stuff like that for the P72 from the remains of that company, as best I understand it. And struck a deal with an outside company to produce the Tomaso P72 because there's only 4 employees at the time, according to what I read, and none of them were like car people, engineers, or anything like that. They were marketing people and business people. So it was basically an outsourced production. They claimed all of them were pre-sold, but they've been to a lot of events marketing these cars. They've repainted the original prototype numerous times, kind of a Nissan R390 GT1 move where there's 2, there's 1.
That is true, but I don't know if we need to set the R390, and at least the R390 existed.
Nissan didn't need to sell any R390s. They just needed to produce one for homologation purposes. The P72, they actually need to sell them.
I wish they did sell R390s, though. Those are so good looking.
Yes, they are good.
It is so good looking. The race cars are really good.
Anyway, so March 2023, the work on the P72 stopped because the company that they had outsourced to, Capricorn, wanted their money and they weren't getting paid. So it appears that they had a new deal with the company HWA to produce it, and there's another article in January of 2024 that says the Tomaso P72 is coming later this year. So it's kind of like an anniversary thing, right?
It's just Groundhog Day.
Yeah. To finally enter production in the second half of 2024. Well, they did start production, and they made a bunch of noise about it on their website, indicating, well, maybe I read that wrong. I shouldn't accuse them of something. I read it as this is a customer car. So it is a production spec car. It is VIN number 001, but it's still essentially a testing prototype, right? McLaren did the XP1 through 5. Were they completed production cars? Yes, absolutely. But they were also their experimental cars. So that is what they have completed. And that brings us to the latest article. I've got so many up here. I got to find this
links
one.
on links on links on links.
From December of 2024, but we'll say it's January because we're celebrating the anniversary of announcing that the P72 is coming this year. They should rename it the Tomaso Imminent Production. The long road to the first customer cars being delivered is almost over, as Tomaso on Tuesday confirmed the production of the first production specification P72. It'll be used for some final dynamic validation before production of the first customer cars commences. This article is from motorauthority.com. Which, when do you think that might be, the first customer cars?
You know, I think you and I will be sitting here in February of 2026, and maybe the first one will come out.
Well, they said likely sometime next year, which that was December of last year. So once again, it's coming this year.
So soon, guys, we promise.
Tomaso is still working with HWA on the project, so we've got sort of track record with them. HWA is a German motorsports and engineering business with close ties to Mercedes-Benz. It was founded in 1998 by AMG co-founder Hans-Werner Aufrecht. And, they helped Tomaso, Apollo, with its Intensa Emotion. So, now, according to what I read, Tomaso said that these delays were so they could, essentially perfect the car. These are, they spun it in a way like this is all planned, and this is all for the better. We've identified, engineering issues, safety concerns, things that we wanted to make better, and now it is the best car possible, which I really, really want to believe. Well, go for it.
As we are poking at fun a bit at it's coming. This does feel different than when we have talked about, like, Celine, for example. They're like, hey guys, here's all this cool stuff, and it's all like renderings. Like, nothing actually exists from what we can tell.
They're not even cool renderings.
Yeah, it's just average.
They're very dated.
But this is something that I think you and I have seen in person at some point, one of the prototypes.
Yes.
And
we've seen 3 different ones in 3 different colors.
Is it the
not
same
all
one?
in the same place.
But, like, this is something that neither of us can afford, but we think is so beautiful and is such a juxtaposition with all of the very angular, like, crazy futuristic designs. Like, this is a beautiful
and hybrid
car.
supercars. This is a Roush-developed 5-liter V8 with a manual transmission.
Like, I want it to exist so bad, even though I'll never buy it and probably maybe never see one again. But, like, I just would like for it to be here. Like, it's so weird that this is like a startup that doesn't actually make cars. They outsource it to be a marketing brand. Like, that feels gross.
That might be the best plan ever. Because trying to get your own manufacturing facility and engineering firm and everything, that is probably actually brilliant, as long as they can run the business. Now, the past suggests that they may be struggling in how they run their business, whether maybe they didn't have enough startup cash or didn't plan for the delays accordingly. But it's probably going to save them a lot of money, as long as they can complete the cars and produce the cars and bring them to delivery. And they did say here that the previous plan was to use an existing carbon tub from Apollo, but HWA HWA developed a new one which improved the safety, ergonomics, lower center of gravity, increased head and leg room, improved crash safety, and less mass. But that is all coming from De Tomaso. So the things that aren't coming from De Tomaso are cars.
Yes. They got a lot of pretty photos on their website that, I can register my interest. How do I do this?
How do you register your interest if they were all pre-sold?
Well, it doesn't say pre-order or whatever else. It just says register your interest, and it wants all of this info. Which De Tomaso variant are you interested in?
Well, but they want to keep it exclusive. Like, you can't actually buy one, but, I kind of want to register my interest and then just say, I'll give you half price.
They ask, what automotive events do you attend / participate in on the interest thing?
Well, they want to make sure that your car is going to be out there.
What vehicles do you currently have in your collection on a single line entry on this forum? Which is your
the Ford Excursion
first?
I thought about doing a satirical application for the Mustang GTD. Maybe I could do one for the De Tomaso P72.
They ask your preferred dealer partner, which there's 4.
Me.
Ship it right here, guys. You can send a little message, too.
I'll be a De Tomaso franchise. Don't make me pay up front for for the accoutrement that I need. It's $2 million. You got to redo your showroom. It's $1 million franchise fee. Nah, no thanks. The old Spiker move. That was crazy. Spiker was going to build a new car, right? So they did the C8, and that was a fantastic car. And then they kind of went quiet for a while, and then they said, "Oh, we're going to bring out a new car," and got all these dealers to sign up as franchise. Got a ton of money and deposits and stuff. I don't know how much money they got from the dealers, but then they just went completely belly up. CEO disappeared. Like, it was. It's why we pay such close attention to what's going on with De Tomaso, because any of these companies could go belly up at any point in time, and most of them do. It's not anything we want to see. I'm not wishing any ill will on De Tomaso. There's just a lot of smoke surrounding their startup. They've had a rocky journey. Really, really hope this thing makes it to the streets.
Me too, because I'd love to see it and hear it driving around. What you should do, though, Doug, is buy one of the Guaras. The last De Tomaso ever, and then put that in there as the car. They can't. There's got to be like 2 people that own these. You're going to be at the top of the list.
I almost have twice, actually.
Really?
I've come close to buying 2 separate De Tomaso Guaras.
Is Guara the right way to pronounce that? I
think so.
Being an ignorant American?
I keep thinking it's guava, like,
Guava's good too. This thing is so cool looking.
It's a little short. It's a little short. The proportions are weird.
It's stubby.
I'd like a Guara Spider, Barchetta, whatever they call it, with the windshield, not the one without the windshield. I want some proper, like an actual top that works, practical.
Reminds me of the Lotus Elan, like the last one of those.
Yeah. Well, that was front-wheel drive, though. At least the Guara was rear-wheel drive. And
this thing is sick.
BMW or Ford drivetrain. Oh, well.
There's been some complications in the past. Don't worry about it.
So don't worry about it. Props and flops brought to you by Switchcars. Probably not your future De Tomaso franchise.
And Switchcars is the enthusiast dealership where we buy, sell, and consign only cars that we like ourselves. Check out our handpicked inventory at switchcars.com and mention SwitchCast. Yeah, there it is, for special pricing. Find more information at switchcars.com, or you can come by our beautiful showroom in Twinsburg, Ohio. Check out the hot inventory. Doug, what is the pick of the week?
Pick of the week, 2006 Lamborghini Gallardo SE. That stands for Special Edition, which means it's got branding package and some stitching and badges, and it says it's number something of something, and all the options that you could get on a regular one, but they just come standard. But it's rare. It's a special edition, so bragging rights. Anyway, 16,000 miles, Verde Ithaca, awesome color, rear-wheel drive converted, which was actually a surprise to us.
Did you?
We thought we bought an all-wheel drive car.
You're like,
where's that drive shaft?
Yeah.
Which, honestly, like people are concerned about it from resale, right? Stock sells. Oh my gosh, I can't sell. It's rear wheel drive. Way better car. Lamborghini even admitted that because they made rear wheel drive versions later on in production. It was the Valentino Balboni edition, right? He's the Lamborghini factory test driver. What would he prefer? Rear wheel drive. The all wheel drive's heavy. You get understeers. Get rid of all that weight in the front. Lighter steering. Better handling. I think it's better, but people just, it's got to be stock because the next guy cares. But, yeah.
It's green.
It is green. And it's e-gear, which isn't my favorite, but it's, it's good for some people.
Yes.
Tyler, what's our flop of the week?
Let's go. This comes to us from CarBuzz. Every stop sign is now a chance for Jeep to put an ad in your face. So the summary of this article is essentially there has been an update on your infotainment screen on Jeeps that when you come to a stop sign, it starts telling you about the great warranties from Mopar, and you have to press OK to dismiss it. And then the next time you come to a stop sign, boop, pops back up again. Allegedly, this was an accident. I don't think it's an accident. So I can't wait to get ads for Dunkin' Donuts and Starbucks in your car as you're passing by them very conveniently in your Stellantis product.
I mean, it's kind of like Waze does that, but you don't have to clear it. It once it senses you're moving again, it just goes away.
Hey, hate it. Hate it.
I think one customer who first outed this issue on the internet talked to Jeep and they said that it was a contracted part of his Sirius XM subscription. So it's like, you opted in for this. Sorry.
Oh, it's somewhere in the terms and conditions.
Right. Kind of like where they can track you and sell your data, your driving data. You signed that.
You said okay.
It was in the 17th paragraph on page 22.
Every day that goes by, Doug, my Volvo is getting better. More miles, more better. It's no ads.
Somebody has to actually call you to try to reach you about an extended warranty.
And then I just ignore it. Doug, prop of the week. Let's feel happy.
Submission from Larry. This article is hotcars.com, although it's pretty much everywhere. Gentleman put 750,000 miles on his Corvette C5. Oh. Mark Blackwell did this. He owned it for 18 years, bought it new, and then donated it to the Corvette Museum. So you would have to average 100 miles a day every day for 18 years.
Oh my gosh. Does it tell you, I'm just reading through there, does it tell you how he did this? Did he just drive all over the place all the time?
He said he used it as a mobile office. So he lived in Jacksonville, and he was required to travel to Georgia and South Florida daily. Rather than opting for something sensible or fuel efficient to cover the distance, Blackwell elected to use a C5 as his mobile office. What? They are fuel efficient.
Yeah.
It's like 30 miles to the gallon on the highway. Come on.
They're fantastic on the highway.
This is hilarious. The opening to this article, it was written by Gray Van Dyke, but I feel like the first paragraph was written by AI.
Oh my no.
Sports cars, especially in the case of American models like the Chevrolet Corvette, are usually known more for their performance than they are for their reliability. With highly stressed engines, sensitive handling, and the most precise of manufacturing tolerances, except in the interior panels.
I can store so many tubes of toothpaste around that bad boy. Oh my gosh.
They're intended to provide a thrilling drive, not to last hundreds of thousands of miles.
That's so false.
Well, it's so
what
false
about
too.
The LS is stressed.
But they say especially American models like the Corvette are known more for performance than reliability. No, they're not. American models are known for their reliability in contrast to Italian and German sports cars. Come on. Well, we're wrong more often than he is, so I guess I can't hate on it too much. Anyway, Mark Blackwell, 773,000 miles, and then he gave it to the Corvette Museum. That guy is the anti-Corvette curmudgeon. In fact, that's probably more miles cumulatively than all the other red Corvettes that were produced on the day that his were produced.
Incredible. Mad respect.
Thank you for joining us for SwitchCast with Doug Tabbutt and Tyler Sanders, produced by Ethan Huffnagel. SwitchCast is an automotive entertainment and opinion show, and nothing we say should be taken very seriously. We do not give tax, investment, legal, emotional, or professional advice, and the only licenses we hold are driver's licenses. The opinions expressed on this show are exclusively held by the people pontificating at that moment and do not reflect the values of our producers or sponsors. Our theme music is provided by Emily and Ivory. You can stream their full album on Spotify or SoundCloud. If you like this show, you can stream it in its entirety on your favorite audio podcast platform. Check out switchcast.live for more info.